Most people believe heart attacks strike without warning. One moment life feels normal, the next everything collapses. But that belief is dangerously wrong. Your body does not fail silently. It whispers first. Subtle changes. Strange discomforts. Signals so quiet they're easy to dismiss as stress, age, or a bad night of sleep. And because they don't look dramatic, most people ignore them. Think about this. What if the moment that saves your life doesn't feel like an emergency at all? What if it feels ordinary? A heaviness you brush off. A fatigue you explain away. A sensation that doesn't scare you enough to stop. The truth is unsettling. Long before the heart cries out, the body tries to warn you. Not once, but repeatedly. The real danger isn't ignorance. It's familiarity. Today, you're going to hear about those warnings, the ones hiding in plain sight, and decide now. There is a powerful myth that keeps people unprepared. The idea that heart attacks are sudden, random events. Something dramatic. Something unavoidable. A sharp pain. A collapse. An ambulance. But real life rarely looks like that. For many people, the warning signs begin days, weeks, even months earlier. They don't arrive as panic. They arrive as inconvenience. A strange tightness that fades. A shortness of breath that comes and goes. A sense that something feels off, but not serious enough to worry about. So people keep going. They go to work. They run errands. They push through workouts. They tell themselves it's just stress. Just getting older. Just life. And because nothing catastrophic happens right away, the brain files the signal away as harmless. Here's the uncomfortable question. If your body sent you a warning today, would you recognize it? Or would you explain it away like everyone else? The heart doesn't usually fail without context. It fails after being ignored. The danger isn't that people don't care about their health. It's that the earliest signs don't match the story they've been told about what a heart attack is supposed to feel like. And that misunderstanding is exactly where the body starts speaking up. Your body is constantly sending information. Every heartbeat, every breath, every shift in energy is feedback. The problem is not that the body stays silent. The problem is that the modern mind has been trained to tune it out. From an early age, people learn to override signals, push through fatigue, ignore discomfort, normalize pain. Being tired becomes a badge of honor. Feeling off becomes background noise. If you can still function, you convince yourself everything must be fine. And slowly, this becomes dangerous. The body doesn't use alarms at first. It uses sensations, subtle changes in how you move, how you breathe, how quickly you recover. Signals that ask for attention, not panic. But attention requires slowing down, and most people don't feel they have permission to do that. So the mind steps in with explanations. You slept wrong. You're stressed. You didn't eat well. You're just out of shape today. Each explanation sounds reasonable. Each one quiets the signal just enough to move on. Here's the question most people never ask themselves. When was the last time you truly listened to your body without immediately correcting it or dismissing it? Because the heart doesn't suddenly break trust with the body. The body loses trust in being heard. And when gentle signals are ignored long enough, they don't disappear. They escalate. Not to scare you, to protect you. The tragedy is that many warning signs don't feel like danger. They feel familiar. And familiarity is exactly what makes them easy to overlook. That's where the most ignored signal begins. This is where most people look back and say, "I felt something. I just didn't think it mattered." The signal often starts as pressure, not sharp pain, not an emergency, just a heaviness, a tight, uncomfortable sensation that comes and goes. It might show up in the chest, or it might not. And because it isn't dramatic, it gets labeled as harmless. People blame posture, acid reflux, muscle strain, anxiety. They wait for it to pass. And most of the time it does. That's what makes it so deceptive. The body isn't screaming yet. It's testing whether you're listening. What's dangerous about this signal isn't how intense it is. It's how easy it is to explain away. It doesn't stop your day. It doesn't force you to lie down. It allows you to keep moving, which convinces you nothing is wrong. But here's the unsettling part. This sensation often appears during moments of stress, effort, or emotional tension. Times when the heart is already working harder. The body is quietly saying, "Pay attention." How many times have you felt something like that and immediately searched for a simple explanation? Because once the mind finds one, the warning fades into the background, and the body moves on to its next attempt to get through to you. That attempt doesn't always appear where you expect it. One of the most misleading things about heart-related warnings is location. People are taught to look for pain in one specific place. So when discomfort shows up somewhere else, it gets ignored almost automatically. The body doesn't always signal danger in the chest. Sometimes it sends it outward. A dull ache in the shoulder, a strange sensation down the arm, tightness in the neck or jaw, even discomfort in the upper back. These feelings don't feel urgent. They feel awkward, random, easy to dismiss. So people stretch. They change positions. They assume it's tension or poor sleep. And when the sensation fades, relief replaces curiosity. But the body isn't confused. It's communicating through shared nerve pathways. The heart and these areas are more connected than most people realize. When strain builds, the signal can travel. Here's the quiet danger. Because the discomfort isn't where you expect it, you lower your guard. You tell yourself it can't be serious. You move on without a second thought. Ask yourself this. Have you ever felt an unexplained ache that didn't quite make sense, then forgotten about it once it passed? Those moments feel insignificant on their own. But the body rarely sends just one message. When one is ignored, it looks for another route. And sometimes, it chooses moments that feel completely harmless. Some of the most dangerous signals don't show up during stress or exertion. They appear when nothing seems wrong at all. You're walking at a normal pace, sitting down, having a casual conversation, and suddenly, there's a wave of unusual fatigue, a light-headed feeling, a sense that your energy drops without explanation. It passes quickly, so you don't give it much thought. But the body noticed. These moments are confusing because they don't match the narrative of danger. There's no struggle, no pain intense enough to alarm you. Just a brief disruption that feels more annoying than threatening. So people blame hydration, sleep, blood sugar, a long day, anything that allows them to move on. What's unsettling is how often these signals happen repeatedly before a major event. Not strong enough to stop life, but frequent enough to be remembered later in hindsight. The body is testing different ways to get attention. Changing posture, slowing you down, forcing pauses. Here's a question worth sitting with. Have you ever felt suddenly off for no clear reason, only to brush it aside because it didn't last? Those fleeting moments are easy to forget, but they are rarely meaningless. When they go unanswered, the body shifts from subtle to unmistakable, and that's when the final warning begins. This is the stage many people remember with regret. The signals become harder to ignore, but still not dramatic enough to force action. Breathing feels slightly strained, even without effort. Simple activities take more out of you than they should. There's a lingering discomfort that doesn't fully disappear, only dulls enough to be tolerated. At this point, the body is no longer whispering. It's insisting. But even here, people hesitate. They wait. They tell themselves they'll rest later. They promise to check it out if it happens again. And because the body is resilient, it often allows them to continue a little longer. That resilience is misunderstood as safety. What's really happening is compensation. The heart working harder. The body adapting under strain. Buying time. This is the most dangerous window because everything still feels manageable. Life hasn't stopped yet. The alarm hasn't sounded. And humans are wired to respond to emergencies, not warnings. So let this land for a moment. If your body has been sending signals you've normalized, discomfort you've explained away, fatigue you've accepted as routine, how will you know when the next signal is the one you shouldn't ignore? Or will you only recognize it after the body is forced to shout? Before you scroll away, pause for a moment and think honestly. Was there a time when your body tried to get your attention, and you chose not to listen? Maybe it was a sensation you dismissed, a moment of fatigue you normalized, a warning that didn't feel serious enough to interrupt your day. If any part of this felt familiar, you're not alone, but awareness only matters if it leads to reflection. I want you to share something in the comments. Not for anyone else. For you. What is one signal from your body you've ignored or explained away in the past? Your answer might help someone else recognize their own warning sooner. And if this video made you look at your body differently, stay with the channel. Another video is appearing on your screen right now. One that explores signs most people miss until it's too late. Watch it with the same attention you wish you'd given your body. Because the most important conversations don't start with answers. They start when we finally choose to listen.